there is a new generation coming, and so also for us educators, we need to adapt and learn, and somehow we also learn from them, which is very, very interesting because you give them knowledge, but they also give you some knowledge, which is the way they think, the way they act, and what they want. You know, as you said, like now, climate warriors is one of the things. Um, they are very, very conscious about some topics and at all about others. And what is interesting for of this new generation, which we call Generation Z, is very interesting because I think it's the first one in history that didn't detach completely, or at least had a clash with parents. So somehow every generation in their own way, they had a moment of detachment from parents, while these ones are friends of parents.
Do you think that's more because of the children, or do you think it's more because their parents are choosing to be friends with them?
So I think we influenced them, and we were looking for a family in a more traditional way, paradoxically. Family not in a traditional way like mother, father, child, because families were mixed up, but in the values, in the way of talking and relating and connecting to people. And this is good and bad because somehow we are holding them, you know, still keeping holding them like if they were little, even if they are not little. And on the other hand, it's good because we can talk like friends, and we can pass information from generation to generation. But the point is, if they are so technologically related and everything is in the cloud, what is the future of the past? I mean, what they will leave to history, what they will produce, and what is gonna be. I mean, we'll have a new Ginori in the future or not?
Exactly. The future of the past, which is a very meaningful sentence, I think is already the answer to your question, because I think that our generation, I mean ours, and also our kids and the next generation should have a long-term vision. We should look forward, but also backwards, and try to combine as much as possible the ancient knowledge, the ancient way of working, like Ginori is a very good example. But what I think is lacking right now, today, is this long-term thinking. We are really, we are really much focusing on the present, on nowadays, and we forget the past, which is very important. The past is knowledge. The past is everything.
If we look at history, as others have mentioned, it's we reach a peak and then we, through our own arrogance, we kind of fall off a cliff, and then we build ourselves up again. And it's
You have to think that there's some way to rise above everything that's going on in the world right now.
That's good, but then what is the way? That is the question.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm really not sure. It's like there's so much hate and so much lack of being in touch with reality. You know, I don't know exactly, but we have to be positive, because you have to be positive. You have to do things to try and push things in the right direction. I think it's everybody's responsibility. It's like, I can't remember who said it, but it was like, if you think you're too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito.
Yes. There's a friend. Uh, he's Chinese, but he's living in New York, Uning, and his main thought is utopia. and he doesn't see a utopia as a construction of ideas that is not going to happen, or better, it's not going to happen, because we saw how utopias are when they really happen. But he's seen that as an engine for doing something little every day towards that utopia. So it's not the final outcome, but it's the progress, it's the way you get to there.
Yeah, which
To me, I think there is, from my point of view, of course, I'm an art curator, so I see an everyday form of utopia in art. Because I see the imaginative power of art, literature, filmmaking, every kind of art. I'm not talking just about visual art. As fields where you can really imagine the future. You can freely, you can share your visions with others without any, I could say, without any practical ambition, because the first and for me last meaning of the artwork is really to find new meanings, to find new perspectives, to explore the meaning of being human. I don't want to sound too idealistic, but when I meet real artists, I mean artists that they ask every day to themselves why I'm doing what I'm doing, I find these, they are afraid of the future, as we are, but they still look in the future. I mean, they have the bravery to keep thinking about the future and imagining new scenarios, new ideas, new ways. And at the same time, they look forward, they look backwards, and they look inside them all the time.
We now have an industry where every brand relies on the same trend forecasters, goes to the same conferences, has the same executive cycling in and out of companies. So naturally, and also maybe relies on the same sources of information, or like even, oh, the world's going in this direction, or this is the cause to care about this year or this decade. So you naturally have this, like you said, as almost like a mirror reflection of globalization.
Then perhaps the road of fashion has changed. It's not so much about emotional expressions or cultural references or this, but more about the system and how it's moving forward to the future in a more sustainable way.
But you know what? There was a moment during pandemic that I really believed in the change. I thought, you know what? Maybe it's the right moment. Maybe this is the moment.
We have had a lot of fantastic opportunity for an evolution of humanity. Instead, it seems that everyone is thinking just about now, about the now, about making money now, not thinking about future generations. And that's the main issue, as far as I'm concerned.
I think that is the problem,
The
because
responsibility.
I think the distance between what is artistic and what is commercial in art, but also in fashion everywhere, doesn't exist. We are already, artificial intelligence or metaverse. Our human being is a metaverse. We see flowers as a bouquet in the middle of the table, but flowers don't perceive themselves as flowers.
Sure.
So this is already somehow a metaverse. It's something that is conceived with different machines, and it depends how you use them.
and you can make them say whatever, and it sounds like
Okay. Okay.
on all different levels, whether it's politics or something like your bank or calling, or somebody from supposedly your school, directing the school where your kids are, saying. So
Yes.
that part I find really scary.
Sometimes we as humans, whenever we see something that's propped to us as this is the future, this is going to change everything, it's going to save everything, we're more inclined to kind of switch the part of our brain which is supposed to care, which is what I think part of the challenge that comes with artificial intelligence is that you're now, as a result of much more granularity across a whole bunch of different things. Because say, for example, I write poetry, but I've also used artificial intelligence to, say, compose poems in a book that I did like a year ago. I think different parts of different technologies might have value in different places. So some places it might make sense to have robots that do certain other aspects. Other places it might have benefits to use this type of technology or this type of technology. So I think there's a possible beautiful opportunity for these different things to come in and amplify different places so that Florence doesn't become London, London doesn't become Florence, but
No.
they just become more of what they are.
But I think this is the quality everyone should have in future, that you have to be very open and adaptable and try to use the new technology to produce.
Yes, but my worry is that it's not anymore to use a new technology, but it is to be substituted by.
I'm not afraid of that.
No.
Even
I
if
hope
you, it's like any other kind of tools. I mean, if I give you a camera, or if I give the photographer a camera,
Yeah.
the outcome will be different. So it's not that if you process the tool, you can produce the work. It's not.
Yes, you're right. But I fear that this kind of new technologies, they're gonna use them to substitute themselves on something. To me, this intelligence artificiale raised the bar, saying that okay, you can be what you are not, but expressing yourself.
If we look at history, again, video didn't kill the radio stars, and not even other technologies killed the ones before, but at certain point they integrated each other. And it's called convergence, and it's even an instrument of innovation that we are teaching at school. I give you an example with music. At certain point, I was used to buy CDs or vinyls, and at certain point in this formats costing a lot of money. So people found a way, an alternative way, to get to music without paying those 40 euro, which was pirate way. And so the music industry, for preventing people, to listen to music properly, to an amount of of songs for that price, at the end they had to be pirated on everything. Single price for a single song, and all the songs could be collected. The step after that is streaming. So Spotify or even Apple Music at this point, or even Google Play, I think.
Yeah.
Yes. And now that is the major income of music labels.
I'm always trying to defend a kind of artistic integrity, which I believe. And I think that a musician, even nowadays, but more in the past, used to make album as a, like an artwork from the beginning to the end. So you were supposed to listen to the whole album, to all the tracks. Of course, every one of us did the favorite tracks, and you would use your CD player to go on loop on the same. But
no, there's a problem there, and the problem is in the content. It's always I'm fine with that division of having something solid, collectible, well done, artistic. That's great, but it must be that.
Okay. So for you, it was a consequence of
Yes.
poor quality.
Yes, you know, the industry is made of different players. So if the main player, who is the producer and the brand, who is really making the money, is that, then journalism around is more or less, you know, becoming that. Yeah. So if I have to mention what I read about fashion, maybe journalists are no more than in one hand.
It's true, because critics don't exist. It's like, if you're a theater critic and something is shit, you say it.
The point is the quality of the journalists you have today. The point that Diane touched before, that they are much less educated. They don't know what they're writing about.
Sure.
That is the point.
Sure.
Do you think that also being overworked? Because I know with the change from things just being in newspapers and magazines to now being online, more is being demanded of the same journalists and new journalists as well to produce more work.
Can be,
Yeah.
can also be. I think, but by the way, we were talking about AI.
Sorry.
I'm trying to understand what prompt people wrote to arrive to that answer, and what sources AI picked to give that answer. Because writing is not about writing answers, but writing questions. Because the answers are given by the machine. So reading and writing are changing radically here. So in this sense, we need to see what are the new jobs and also the new Steve Jobs.
Like even before AI or everything, like one quality of journalist is to ask the right question. So it's always the same, but now
Exactly.
we're asking the AI
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
But I also, what worries me is that how do you be sure? How can you be sure that the answer coming out from the AI is correct?
So now you have this challenge of what is this person saying to me and why are they saying it? Do they believe it to be true, or are they just kind of prefacing it or or providing me something so that they can give, like, are they preparing me for something later
Yeah.
down the line?
Ecco,
That's
So-
absolutely true.
So
that's
now
it's scary.
Absolutely true.
I think the conflicts of the different wars that are going on are also lending towards this as now, depending on which social media platform you're on, there's like a pervading or like a domineering narrative or political leaning, as some might say. So now it's like, oh, as you switch between different platforms, you're now being pushed with a different, like, leading narrative on why this wine is better than this one, or this thing's happening here. So I think it's same challenges, but
Also,
different.
today we don't have the difference between subculture and mainstream. There is no subculture anymore.
These are the people that they're gonna use these kind of technologies to be faster in doing this, because yes, of course, you can use it to be better, to feel smarter, but you are not better, you are not smarter, and instead you are faster than other people that are still, reading a book, which is a book. I mean,
You know, I'm already 50, so I can die with my books.
okay, me too, but still.
Yes,
That's it. It will take 20 years.
it will take 20 years, yes.
Start to how to
Yeah.
enjoy
Yeah.
reading books, the importance of
Yeah.
reading books, not just reading one sentence a year, one sentence there, but the whole book from the beginning to the end.
Esattamente.
Yeah, in fact, it's a circle because the answer is the question. So, like ChatGPT.
Yes.